Hi, I'm Kaylee, and today I'm going to tell you the 15 longest books that I have ever read. I'm not really sure why I ended up with a list of 15. Somehow I was making a list. I was like, oh, what are the longest books I've ever read? And I went on Goodreads to see which ones have the most pages. And I just kind of ended up with 15 books on that list. So that's just the way it is. Okay. Before we get into those 15 books, I want to make sure that you know that Books for MKs is a charity. We donate books to missionary kids all over the world. If you want to donate to the kids, you can do so at GoFundMe.com. There's a link down in the description, then there's a button right up here and a button at the end of this video where you can donate to the kids. So let's jump right into my list. Number 15. Clocking in at 870 pages, it's Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. I think anybody who's doing a longest books I've ever read list, Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix is on that list. It's the longest book in the Harry Potter series, and it just kind of ends up being on everybody's list. And honestly, if you're making a list of any kind and you don't have Harry Potter on that list, you're doing something wrong. You have messed up. You have to have Harry Potter on there somewhere. Unless maybe you're making a list of like classics or something. I don't know. Coming in at number 14 with 882 pages is my favorite Dickens of all time, David Copperfield. A few weeks ago, I did a video of my 5 favorite Dickens, and I will link that up above and down below so you can go check out why David Copperfield is my favorite. Another Dickens comes in at number 13. With 896 pages, it's Bleak House. This is another favorite. Dickens was quite long-winded, and he loved writing those really lengthy books. Of course, they were serialized when they were first published, but many of the books on this list are going to be Dickens because he wrote big books. Number 12 is William Thackeray's Vanity Fair with 912 pages. Vanity Fair is one of those books that you get completely absorbed in the story and you don't even realize how long the book is. But when you're done, you're kind of like, oh, that's it? Okay, well, that was good, but I guess I'm done. Number 11 has 928 pages. It's the last Chronicle of Barset by Anthony Trollope. This is the very last book in the Barsetshire Chronicles, and I was so much enjoying every single book in the Barsetshire books. Oh my goodness, I loved them so much. And the last Chronicle of Barset, there were things that I loved. There were things that I was kind of like, this is not how I wanted this to go. I wish the author had written it differently. But still, an amazing book. And number 10. Don Quixote by Miguel de Cervantes with 940 pages. I can't remember if I first read this in Spanish or if I first read it in English, because I am bilingual. I think I might have first read it in English and then I went back and read it in Spanish. I feel like if you're bilingual, it's kind of a rite of passage that you have to read it in both languages eventually. Not a favorite book, but a good one. Number 9 is Margaret Mitchell's Gone with the Wind with 954 pages. I had watched the Gone with the Wind movie many times, and so I finally decided, you know what, it's time to read the book. This is actually kind of a special book for me because the edition that I own is this movie tie-in edition from back in the day, and it has bunches of pictures from the movie. This is a book that my great-grandmother bought for my grandfather in 1940. Merry Christmas to Roland Bradley from Mama. So it's completely beat up and falling apart, but it's very special to me, not only for the heritage, but also because of the movie tie-in pictures inside. And I even have a postcard of Tara. So that's just kind of special to me. Number 8 is another favorite Dickens. Dombey and Son has 996 pages. I tell you, there's nobody like Dickens for holding your attention for 996 pages and making you want to sit right down and read the entire thing again. Number 7 is The Complete Sherlock Holmes by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. This has 1,122 pages. This includes all the short stories and all the novels together. And actually it is, yeah, it's this one. So it's a big honkin' thing. I am a big fan of Sherlock Holmes. I think I've probably read through this at least twice, maybe 3 times, because I love it. Number 6 has 1,167 pages, and it's The Wise Man's Fear by Patrick Rothfuss. People had been telling me for years and years that I needed to read The Name of the Wind. Oh, Kaylee, if you love fantasy, you need to read The Name of the Wind. Except they forgot to mention it was a trilogy where the last book has not been published for years and years and years. And so I read Name of the Wind. And then I read Wise Man's Fear. And now I'm still waiting and sitting here on a cliffhanger, waiting for Doors of Stone to be published. And so I have to suffer and suffer for years, waiting and waiting. Thank you so much, people who recommended Name of the Wind to me. You are just my favorite people. Number 5 has 1,168 pages, and it is Atlas Shrugged by Ayn Rand. And I know I'm saying that wrong, and I don't care. There are some parts of Atlas Shrugged that I kind of skimmed over. I mean, when there's a 70-page sermon about capitalism, I tend to just kind of, skim through those 70 pages, but the rest of it I enjoyed. Number 4 is Tolkien's Lord of the Rings. It was originally intended to be published as one big book and not as 3 separate books. So if you take it as one big book, it is 1,223 pages. Lord of the Rings is one of my top favorite books of all time. I reread it all the time. Like every other year, I'm rereading Lord of the Rings, and I never get tired of it. I still remember the very first time that I read Lord of the Rings. I was in college, and it was a summer break, and I think I just sat down and read for 3 days and did nothing else. I ate, I slept a little, and that was it, and I read. That was it. And when I was finished, I was just kind of in a daze, like, what is real life? No, I want to go back to Middle Earth. There's nothing quite like that first time that you read a book that becomes your favorite forever. Number 3 has 1,276 pages, and it is one of my favorite classics of all time, The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexander Dumas. Count of Monte Cristo just encompasses so much. There is so much going on all the time. It really doesn't feel like a long book. A lot of people are intimidated by it. I mean, it's a big old honking book. It's pretty humongous, But I love it. It doesn't feel that long because it's just so good. I love it so much. The number 2 slot goes to my favorite author of all time, best author ever. This is a joke, actually. This book has 1,590 pages, and it's my favorite author because the author is God. It's the Bible, my favorite book of all time, the Bible, and also one of the longest books that I've ever read with 1,500 pages. Wow. So of course this is a book that I am constantly going back and rereading and reading a little bit every day just for that spiritual health. Okay, the number 1 slot, the biggest book ever, with 2,412 pages, is The Complete Illustrated Shakespeare. So this is kind of a wonderful little feeling of accomplishment that I can really say, I've read The Complete Shakespeare. I have read it all. I am not even going to hold up the actual book because it is massive and it's bigger than I am. No, it's not. It feels like it though. It's just very hefty. This book includes not only the plays but also the sonnets, and it's beautifully illustrated with these lovely engravings and stuff. I find it interesting that the top 2 slots have gone to Shakespeare and God. That just seems like very fitting, because they say the best-selling books of all time are the Bible and Shakespeare, right? So those are my 15 longest books that I have ever read. Please leave me a comment down below and let me know what is the biggest, largest, longest book that you have ever read. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, and remember, the right book in the right hands at the right time can change the world.